Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today as part of the 5G World Program. My name is Mohamed, and I'm a VP of Huawei Global Wireless and Cloud Core Network Marketing and Solution Department. I'm based out of Shenzhen. However, I'm giving this presentation from home in Dallas. Basically, in my position, I focus on branding and demand generation, of course, on 5G, but also on universal connectivity in general. It's my pleasure to be here this morning to share with you some of the insights about mobile network in general and the value creation as well. So, first of all, away from all politics and distractive discussion about technology, polarization, nationalization, let's get back to the whiteboard and focus on two things, technology and business. So please allow me to start by pointing out that it's becoming increasingly obvious that ICT industry platform is kind of the main tool for recovering national economies that are obviously fractured by the virus. Well, 5G and AI and also cloud are all at the heart of this. And you can see that hundreds of operators globally are investing in 5G, believing in its benefit, and also believing in the potential in bringing best value for themselves, for the whole society, and eventually to their countries. So you can see here that in the title, there is no 5G here. However, of course, we cannot talk about anything about 5G. But the reason for that is we believe that the network has to work in total sync and the harmony. So if we look specifically towards market segments, I think nothing new here. You have three things you have to see, to edge, to be. Some carriers, they combine to C and to edge into one consumer segment. But if you talk about consumer segment, you also can talk about home or household in general, enterprise wireless broadband, and certainly you need to talk about industrial application. For consumer segments, I believe by 2025 and even starting from today, we will start seeing application involving people, things, space, mixed reality, how to visualize those and sort of how to make the best value out of them, no matter entertainment or games or even business applications. You'll also start to see acceleration for AR-based devices and also development in terms of the increase of investment by all industry giants. And of course, AR experience is the main differentiator in here. And for example, you can see features like Cyberverse, which is implemented by one of Huawei 5G phones. It starts the AR cloud, and it's kind of associating the metadata with some location in the universe and to get more visualization for that for all of the users. So it's still at the beginning, but this is the trend that's happening in the industry. At home, if we look at the second segment, you will see that the large and small screens are collaborating, and the experience is kind of transferred from the screen to the other, generating a lot of entertainment scenarios. So for the large screen, we all know 4K is mandatory. Small screen, you need to see like high def and also 4K as well, and that will certainly affect the traffic, no matter fixed or mobile, or even if you have fixed wireless access as well. In a nutshell, if you wanted to summarize the 5G formula for success, again, it's two things. It's technology and business. Technology, we put it here in terms of building premium network. But it is not only about the network itself, how to build sites and cores and data center. I think the network here has to provide three different things. The network has to provide superior performance, really high experience in the network. The second thing, the network has to use the spectrum very, very efficiently, because the spectrum is also expensive, and we need to make sure that we put the right technology and it is deployed in the network the right way. But more importantly, the network has to be efficient. The efficiency in terms of the operation, here we can talk about automation, closed loop, zero touch, and also how to run this network that can have hybrid, like virtualized functions and also physical function. So that's all about the network. We here can talk also about autonomous driving network, the network that can automatically configure, heal, and so on and so forth. But the other value, if building the network is great, I guess creating value is the ultimate greatness from that network. So providing the value and the service innovation to utilize this network is fundamentally important, because we all know 5G, sucks in a lot of investment from the carriers, and we need to make sure that there is an ROI which will help upgrading everybody and everything. So regarding the standards, we all know Release 15 is already commercialized, Release 16 is finalized. Release 16 give a lot of flexibility to apply 5G into vertical applications and also enhance the efficiency of 5G as well. Release 17 is already planned, and people are started to get a lot of how will it look there, and of course beyond that, which I personally don't know. In terms of the business scope, it's we can split the business scope beyond those segments into, I think right now the business that we are conducting right now in terms of connecting people, it is the knowns. We all know carriers have been doing that successfully for years and years, and we all know that we need to do this to excel consumer business. As I mentioned before, AR and stuff like that, and how to aggregate contents, and we will talk about that. The second one, which is everybody now is trying to catch, which is the known unknowns. Of course, we know that we need to apply 5G to all industry, but there's a lot of unknowns in there. For example, the business model, what are the requirements, how to adapt as a solution. There are tons of things we need to know about this vertical industry. But of course, we don't know everything. There are the unknown unknowns. There are unknown domains that will come and will be brought by excelling 5G, and those unknown domains will certainly have unknown parameters and unknown things that people wanted to figure out. So it will be very exciting and very interesting the next 5 years to see what's going to happen and how 5G AI will trigger and stimulate that business success. Looking again at 5G, is 5G by itself on the stage? Is 5G the smartest thing ever? No, as a matter of fact, we can think about 5G actually as, I wanted to say it's stupid, 5G by itself. What makes 5G more valuable and will make a lot of opportunities out there is the synergy between different domains. These 5 domains that I'll mention soon reinforce each other. If, of course, the low-hanging fruit or the obvious domain for 5G is the connectivity. 5G will really bring in tremendously beautiful pipe that has different experience attributes, adaptable attributes as well. But how about coupling the connectivity with ubiquitous intelligence everywhere, and also distributed computing with universal accessible cloud? And how about when all of those unite together, synergize to bring industry application? So those 5 domains, industry applications, AI, computing, cloud, 5G, basically they work in sync so that they can push, as I said, the society, the business for carriers, for a lot of other stakeholders, and eventually for the country and for the whole world. That's why we always talking about how to humanize 5G and all of those beautiful technologies, because there are a lot to achieve. There are a lot of things to be achieved right there. And again, the right side of the slide, we all know the key attributes for 5G and how those bring differentiated capability and deterministic experience for 5G will make it really perfectly suitable for different applications as well. Of course, we have to talk a little bit about the network and what are those examples for the innovations. And I think we have to give ourselves a big round of applause for the whole industry and how we came all the way to now manufacture a very nice, cute boxes when it comes to the base station and for data centers, and what are the strength of the computing power and the performance for all of those boxes, and how intelligent the algorithm are. You will see how the traditional sites were, and how right now, for example, in Huawei, when we have all of the stuff 3 gigahertz all-in-one antenna, leaving a lot of space to add the 5G antenna, and also how you can combine even the passive antenna and the active antenna together in one box, very highly integrated, performance improved, synergized together. Also, how to have the power as a blade added to the site, or you will have a new cabinet for the power. Actually, the power is really fundamentally important for 5G. We've seen in our commercial business deployment, site deployment, that the power can be a burden for adding 5G to the site. Sometimes you cannot add 5G because you cannot get enough power. So in essence, it's all about innovation. Innovation will go on and on and on. But innovation will be based on what? Based on 3 things. Innovation has to be service-driven. It has to be, it has to focus on optimizing deployment, and it has to be growth and the future-oriented. Innovation cannot be just for the sake of it. Innovation has to solve the current carrier problems that are really provide value for deployment and to make the deployment more ubiquitous and more fast. So this is the value for innovation. I want to talk a little bit more about consumer services and to provide some of the insights on how it is being adapted or adopted today. As is today, you will see that in the last year, LGU Plus, it's been more than 16 months since LGU Plus deployed 5G. The revenue increased 5.5%. Even they closed the gap between them and their competitor, I think, in terms of the number of subscribers. So very successful in there. China Mobile, they increased the user value. The ARPU increased more than 5%. They added, I think, up to last month, I believe, 70 million 5G users. So as is, there is a gain. However, there is a lot to be achieved, even in consumer space. We all know, of course, we talk a lot about business to business, about home broadband and all of those things, but the real money right now is coming from consumer business. And for that, you will see 3 things are gonna happen in the future. Carriers are going to depend more about premium 5G, no matter speed or latency. You're going to see a lot of repricing for 5G when it comes to more for more. You do not just add money or add fee for using 5G, but it's going to be more traffic, more video for more money as well. But more importantly, you will have to have content bundling strategy. And here, I wanted to summarize 4 content bundling strategy for carriers that are necessary. I think the key message in here is every carrier has to have a content strategy. No matter whether you will see here the very top one, which is having their own contents. For example, the own creation or own aggregation of contents. For example, LGU Plus, they have their own content, self-operated service. And that's the very outer polygon, which is basically bring a lot of revenue. It reduces the churn and it enhances the brand for the carrier. But at the same time, all of that enhancing the cost. It's investment that the carrier needs to put in place. Sometimes it's not available. So if that amount of investment is not there, the second one, which is adopted, for example, by Sunrise, which is basically the carrier can host the service from like gaming company or so. For that, the carrier will get some brand recognition. Of course, the revenue is not going to be that much, but the investment will be a little bit light. You can do more about distribution partner like Ooredoo in Qatar. They have their distribution partner. So the polygon becomes inner and it go down to the middle when it comes to from self-operated or self-aggregated to the resale to bundle to billing on behalf of, just like Vodafone and one of its partner. So no matter what you choose, of course, if you choose the very top one, the service level agreement has to be up because you need to provide that kind of stringent requirement for those kind of service, as you see here on the slide. But no matter what you choose, please, everybody will have to choose a content strategy. In terms of fixed wireless access, I guess Huawei, we were leading to think about fixed wireless access even in LTE era. That's more than 4 or 5 years ago, and we used that for different network globally. And it actually we called it wireless to the X, and we've had a lot of success. And we knew we solved a lot of pain point. For example, how to have an operational like WTTX suite so that it can solve some of the carrier issues. Well, right now, 2019, there's a lot of more than 100 million connected household or businesses using fixed wireless access. This number is expected to be multiplied by 5 in the next 5 years. Well, currently, about half of the network that commercially launched 5G already providing fixed wireless access somehow. But if you look at the very high level, how this is going to be materialized even better down the future, you will see that right now and before that you can consider that phase 1, which you can provide about 20 to 50 megabit per second, sub 3 gigahertz, fixed wireless access, add a little bit from 5G and C-band. But starting from next year, you will see how fixed wireless access will get to more speed, more bandwidth, more than 100 megabit per second. The enhanced mobile broadband and fixed wireless access will be dual driver to adopt creative or very innovative features like massive MIMO, for example. So that's going to be very interesting, and it will allow operators not only to provide broadband, but also to be multiple or multi-service provider as well. In the future, when in some country, depending on, of course, the availability of the spectrum, millimeter wave FWA will provide also gigabit per second experience when you use it in certain hotspots that really needs that, and then you will get those kind of blazing speed up to 1 gigabit per second by millimeter wave. So this is kind of not the roadmap, of course. For different operator, for different country, depending on the spectrum situation, things will be different, but this is the kind of the generic approach that you will see in the marketplace. B2B, I cannot talk more about B2B. If you split the 5G revenue in general from telecom carriers, you will see that service enablement is about $300 billion. And the way they split, I think enterprise will carry about 1/3 of those. And if you only pick 2 industries, like for example, steel and mining, you will see that these 2 will account for more than $100 billion. So in China, there are right now a lot of those applications, and they are encouraged by the government and how they facilitate it, and also the business model and how the ecosystem is getting together. We just launched an alliance for 5G to be trying to push that and to solve the issues, no matter in the network or business or the ecosystem. If you wanted to talk about the certain industry, what are those? You have 3 variables for sure. You have the industry, how attractive the industry is, and you have also the technical viability and the commercial feasibility. So if you look at the mining, it comes on the very high end of commercial viability or feasibility, and also from technical perspective, I think it is doable. So we tried to put an example, to show you an example how we can advise carriers when it comes to which one to choose, which industry to choose to digitalize. You have here how to differentiate the grid and the mine, for example, in terms of is it achievable, the digitization space, it's correlated to 5G or not, and also the solution maturity. So you can compare those, and you can see that for grid, it needs some time to be incubated, need to be explored, smart grid. But for mining, I think it can be explored right now. So that's it for my presentation. I guess the bottom line is the operator needs to maximize the value for their assets, the network potential, the spectrum asset, how to maximize the value out of the spectrum. Every hertz count, every box, and every function, every data center, every base station, everything matter. And at the end of the day, they all need to work together to be deployed to have a sustainable business success. And at the end of the day, we can bring prosperity to every person and every home and every organization for a fully connected, intelligent world. Thank you so much. And please let me know, send me an email if there is any question, comments, or concern. Thank you.